want to do like a motivation Monday.
Do it.
Like every Monday, be like, here, motivation.
Yeah, 100%. Do it.
Bam.
Yeah. You can literally get so many different structures of content down so easily. Like Motivation Monday, you could do like a Thinking Thursday, like a Flipping Friday. Not like this kind of flipping,
Thursday
but the other.
thoughts.
Thursday Thoughts, I like that much better.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better.
And for like the first leg day, which will probably be, it might actually be the first, is Wednesday. But I plan to like just take a video of me doing some barbell squats, and I'll walk up, grab the camera, and say, guys, don't skip leg day.
Don't skip leg day. Don't skip leg day.
That's the whole post right there.
That's funny. That's fantastic. Don't skip leg day, though. I have such a hard time with that. I swear.
Me too. Which is why I'm doing abs every day, because having abs on leg day sucks. Also because...
Why would you do something worse on a day you already hate?
I don't hate leg day. Leg day sucks because you can't walk afterwards, but I don't hate... See, people say that they hate
leg day.
People say that they hate leg day.
Yeah.
But I find the things that I like, the exercises and the workouts that I hate, I actually love, because I hate them because of the pain, and I hate them because of the lack of mobility and strength when I'm done, but I enjoy it because I know I'm getting work done.
Kind of that
because I know
internal motivation rather instead of the external motivation for it.
Like it's like the grind. It's like an entrepreneur grind. Like you go through and you work your butt off, and at the end of the day you're exhausted. But if you had a really productive day, like that feels really good. You know what I mean? Like if you accomplished a lot.
Feels
like
fantastic.
Going out and doing like retail arbitrage, like we've been doing. You go out and you can spend literally all day, getting like 3 hours of sleep, going to different stores and picking up different stuff, and then spending so much time making the ads for it and uploading it and shipping stuff. But at the end of the day, you might be exhausted and you might be like, all right, I don't want to look at my computer anymore.
Every day.
But then you start getting sales and you start seeing results.
Yeah. Damn. So do you think that's more like internal motivation as opposed to external motivation? Do
Absolutely.
You think okay. And that's played a lot with your like fitness?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I hate doing abs. I do. I really do. Which is why it's been so hard to motivate myself to do it. But like I spent, the other day I told you I spent half an hour just on abs, and I got home and I'm like, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, insane.
It's gone now because,
it's the day after, but still.
It's 2 days after, I think. But yeah, so.
What's up, microphone?
It's like, nah, we're gonna mess with you.
It's literally just gonna do what it wants. But that's fine.
Yeah, and that's honestly like the biggest thing that I don't want to do with like TikTok and with Instagram is not only get my name out there and stuff, but
you keep going. You're fine. I think it'll stop.
Yeah. So one of the parts in the bio is going to be not an expert, just on a journey. So that's kind of being like, hey, you don't have to look like a model to be happy with yourself. I am just an average Joe who likes fitness.
Yeah,
I am not super ripped. I am going all natural. I don't care to take steroids or testosterone or anything like that. I want to go all natural. And my goals are different than the goals of other people. But at the same time, just slowly creaking.
Exactly, slowly gonna kill me here. Right, I'll figure out a way to fix this, but keep going.
And so what I want to do is help motivate people, and it's kind of like that motivational Monday is kind of sitting there like, look, it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters health-wise. It matters, what weight you're at. But if you're overweight or you're underweight, it's all the same. Like, the process might look a little different, but the main thing is getting out there and doing something healthy for yourself. And like I feel like that's a big part of like the fat acceptance, situation, which is I think everybody should be confident in their own bodies and stuff. But at the same time, being confident in your own body, if you are overweight, does not necessarily mean you are healthy. So with like fat shaming and stuff, like when I go to the gym and I see someone who's overweight, I'm sitting there, and instead of thinking, oh, they're overweight, or oh, they're gross, or like, look at this guy, like making fun. For me, it's like I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Like, you are making an effort. You are like, you're doing something healthy for yourself. Like, I want to congratulate them. And that's why I feel like the whole like gym intimidation thing is, it's just, if people were not focused on themselves and putting other people down and make themselves feel better. If they were generally interested in the health and well-being of other people, then that gym intimidation would be gone.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, I think that's right. Yeah. In so many cases, but with the internet, with everyone being the new Instagram fitness model type of thing, and everyone posting that this is like their best life and they're always in the gym and all these great qualities, without looking at hey, like, I just had 3 burgers and 2 slices of pie because what the hell I wanted to, and only posting the best and everyone only seeing the best. I feel like that adds so much to that gym intimidation as well.
Yeah. And there's the other part of that, which is, as far as TikTok and Instagram, I want to come with facts. Like, I am not an expert, and I will put that out there. You have a lot of people, especially on Instagram, that pretend like they're experts, and they don't necessarily have the expertise. They don't have certifications. So I want to be that person that says, like, look, here are some facts. Don't take my word for it. There's a link in the description to Athlete Next's YouTube channel. Jeff Cavalier, he's a certified strength coach. He is a certified personal trainer. He is ripped as all get out, like, and like, he is how I learned this information, and his information is true and correct. So if you want good information, if you want to learn how to do things correctly and safely to see the results that you want, go follow his channel. Like, don't follow me, follow him. Yeah. And like pointing out stuff like that, and like shredded sports science, because there's a lot of like bro science and stuff that just misinformation that's out of the
science. Who knew that would actually be a word?
It's a thing, unfortunately.
It really is.
Yeah, because you've got all these people that have Instagram or YouTube, and they're just misleading, or they, like, you see like people that I won't name any names, but they'll like take their shirts off when they're doing, to show how ripped they are as they're doing like barbell squats. And it's like, no, because you put yourself at a risk, especially lifting heavy weights, to injure yourself. You can literally rip your shoulders because if that bar slips off your back, that's why you want like a t-shirt. You don't want like a muscle shirt or anything like that. You literally want a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. You want some kind of material in between the bar and your back, because especially once you start sweating, that bar is going to slip.
Interesting.
So it's a safety measure.
Interesting.
And okay. So, and there's a lot of people out there too that, like, you might see a guy that is, he's got an Instagram or YouTube account and he's just shredded. Does that mean that he has the experience and the expertise to tell you how to lose weight? No.
Just means
so for me, I'm not gonna be instructing people on how to lose weight. You know why? Because I haven't done it.
You've lost a good chunk though.
No, I haven't lost. I've gained. So I can tell a skinny guy. I can tell a skinny guy how to work through hard gains. And how to gain some muscle and how to become lean. I'm not as lean as I was because I haven't been doing food prep, but I can teach that because I've done it. Yeah. Because I have. I'm not an expert, but I have some qualifications because I've done it. Yeah. And I've done it naturally. I haven't done it. You see some people that, they've taken testosterone, and that's really bad for you, because it also, when you're taking testosterone, your body stops producing it over time. So then if you stop taking it, your body's not making testosterone anymore. So I don't take anything like that. So I'm completely natural. So I might not have as much gains as somebody else, but at the same time, I can be like,
they're more long-term gains.
Yeah, I can be like, look, here's a workout program for you to do. This is, I promise this is going to give you gains, but here I am and I'm using a different method. It doesn't make sense. And that's out in the industry. That's why people are like, well, I did this. This is what you said. I did this and I'm not seeing the results. It's because they're not following through with what the person actually did. Because if the person's like, hey, this program, I promise you, this is going to help you gain weight. This is how I did it. But you're taking testosterone, you're misleading everyone.
Completely.
So
interesting. This seems like a more unique take on this. A lot of people seem to be in it less because they like enjoy fitness or they want to help people, but more because they see the dollar signs, they see the opportunities, Absolutely. They see the potential for scalability with the internet and with social media. And they can just be like the body behind a business essentially, instead of being the face behind a business and having that social responsibility. You see, having that difference. But you seem to be a lot more focused on like here's the facts. You're learning, I'm learning. This is what I know. This is what was worked for me. I'll teach you what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll teach you what I'm doing. I'll teach you what I've learned and things that I've done wrong. And my form's not perfect, and when I upload things and if my form is incorrect, I would invite people to correct me, and I'm actually going to be reaching out to some of those YouTube videos channels such as Every Damn Day Fitness, Alan Roberts, Shredded Sports Science, probably Athlete X, and like Pure Bullfit, which are all 4 of those channels are ones that I have ridiculous amounts of respect for, that have taught me what I know, and be like, hey, like Every Damn Day Fitness literally roasts people, and for him he's a little more vulgar about it.
Hey, he's pretty funny about it.
Very, very vulgar.
Hilarious.
I love him. But even Pure Bullfit, like he's actually originally from Bangor, which I think is amazing. But he is a little less vulgar, but he does do it's kind of like a roast. Like they find their peers and they're like, no, this is just bad. This is just nonsense.
Yeah.
And so I want to reach out to them and be like, hey, take a look at me. Like, you don't have to make a video about me or anything like that. You can if you want to, because it's free publicity for me. But at the same time, like, I want to make sure that what I'm putting out is correct. And if I need to change something, if my form's incorrect, let me know so I can change it. Because like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just on a journey. Yeah. And I still have a lot of growing to do.
There's a lot of humility.
Yeah. So I think there's not enough humility in the industry, because even when you have a lot of these people that are being called out, and Every Damn Day Fitness, he does, go to the extreme with calling them out, but they don't take it well. It's like, you need to be able to, even if you're an expert, you can be wrong about some things. Maybe science, the science behind something will change,
It's so interesting when you say the science, because, and like what you just said, there is so much science out there. And this is really fascinating. There's so many things in fitness as well, very much in nutrition, where there'll be 2 different studies done and they could both support completely different ideas.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. And I used to think everything was so black and white. I used to think like it was either right or it's wrong, and there was no like possibly both are right and both are wrong. And maybe we're just measuring the wrong thing. And like, as the more of what the fitness industry has really shown me is that there is so much room for misunderstanding, so much room for growth. And like, you never really, it's very difficult to know until you've tried. Yeah.
And that's like, I was actually watching a video last night by Shredded Sports Science.
Shredded Sports Science, yep.
And he was talking about Jeff Cavalier of Athlete X and his body fat percentage, because it's, he did a body fat percentage test, and it said he's 5.3% body fat year round.
Damn.
But the thing about that, and this is one thing that he explains in his video, and he also says that, hey, Jeff, if you look at Jeff's video, Jeff explains this as well, is that doesn't necessarily, it's kind of like, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's 5% 3 body fat. He might be 6 or 7. Like, it's not an exact science, because
but it's right around that area.
Yeah, because like for him, he used calipers, but each method is dependent on so many different factors. You have each method in and of itself. With like calipers, that can be affected simply by the person holding the calipers if they're doing it correctly. You have things like if you are hydrated, even some of the ones that it's like a DEXA scan. Like if you are dehydrated or hydrated, that can drastically change your results. And so what he was saying is, as far as body fat percentage, don't worry as much about the number. It's kind of like your weight. Like if you weigh yourself in the morning and you weigh yourself at night, that can change drastically during the day. They can change by 10 pounds, just in water weight. So don't focus on necessarily the number in itself, because it's kind of like you're kind of close. You know what I mean? Like it's like an average. But what you can do is you can monitor changes of your body fat percentage over time. So if you take like calipers and you have the same person who, maybe who knows, how to do it well, who to administer the test well, and you have them use the calipers on you for each test, while the number in and of itself might not be completely accurate,
the general procedure,
the procedure is the same. Yeah. So if you have the test done and it says you're 12% body fat, and then you have the test done a month later and it says you're 6% body fat, you can still see the difference in body fat even if the numbers aren't perfectly correct.
Yeah. That's really sweet. I'm glad that's like people are starting to see that like so much specifically in the fitness industry right now, which is really fascinating to me, that so much of this is speculation and there is so much room for errors, and everyone, because anyone can create a business nowadays and entrepreneurship is like the thing. It's the big deal right now, that everyone is trying to be this expert when they aren't necessarily trained, and there's so much room for interpretation, so much room for misinformation. Especially.
And there's a lot of misinformation. But the thing is a lot of people take information at face value, especially like when I just came into, I've only been working out hardcore for like a year, literally a year last month.
That's crazy.
And I've come a long way and I've learned a lot of stuff and I made a lot of mistakes on the way. But a lot of that too, like when I first started, like I was taking everything like at face value, but you got to look below face value because like anabolic window, like that whole, like you have to ingest your protein half an hour or an hour after your workout, or you are screwing yourself over for gains. It doesn't work that way. You can't cheat the body. The body is very hard to fool. Your body is very good at adapting. That doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't some, pros and cons depending on, again, what you're doing. Like the anabolic window, if you have enough protein in your diet already, the anabolic window, it doesn't exist. Because having protein an hour after you work out in that little time frame isn't going to give you any benefit for gains, for muscle, recovery, or, protein synthesis or any of that, while you have, enough protein in your diet. It's not going to do that. It's like supplements. If, with supplements, it's meant to supplement what you're not getting. If you're getting enough protein in your diet, if you're getting enough, micronutrients, if you're getting enough, vitamins, minerals, potassium, everything like that in your diet, you don't need to take supplements.
A lot of people don't really know about that. People think like, if I want, it's actually really interesting because you see this a lot in business as well. People think like, I want this result. So how do I get this result? Well, I should just throw as much money as I can think of and get all of the little toys, and that should get me the results. So in the fitness industry, that means I should get all of the equipment, all the latest gear. I should get the latest, I was going to say jerseys, the latest like gym wear.
I should get that thing that shocks your abs.
Literally. All of the supplements, the highest grade protein, and they don't actually put in the work to show up at the gym. Or that's like much further down on the list. In the business world, that looks like getting all the courses, reading all the books, literally getting the logo, the name, getting everything done before you actually decide, okay, like let me actually put the foot to the metal and let's actually get this shit done.
Yeah. And I mean, that's another thing that like you were talking about, they're out, a lot of them are out there for profit. They figured out how to make that profit. A lot of that in the fitness industry is supplements, and they overlook they take things at face value, a lot of them, and they're like, oh, well, this supplement does this. Like this supplement is like a hack for fat loss. No, it's not. You can't hack fat loss. You can't look and be like be like, today I'm going to target my belly fat. It doesn't work that way. You can't fool the body that way. The body is very, very smart.
It's damn smart. It's surprising.
It's smarter than your brain is, because your brain is a small part of the body.
Yeah.
And so
that's an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah. So what I want to do with these channels is I want to bring value. I want to bring truth. I'm not here to sell you supplements, because if your nutrition is a huge part of working out. If your nutrition is on point, you don't need the supplements. So I'm not going to sell them to you.
Yep.
Because I'm not using them.
Yep.
A lot of people out there are, well, this is how I'm going to make money, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm not out here to make money. I'm out here to speak the truth and to show you the journey and the struggles that I've passed to help you with the struggles that you're in. That's what I'm out here. I'm out here to bring value to the people.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I want to know your opinion on a couple different fitness things. Body weight exercises. What are your thoughts?
I think they're good. I think you can get muscle hypertrophy with them. But you're not, everybody's different. In my opinion, and from what I found, you won't build as much muscle mass with body weight exercises as you would with lifting heavy.
Okay.
Body weight exercises for me, personally, I found they're really good for strength and endurance. Even just like pull-ups. Like I'm terrible. I'm worse at chin-ups, but I used to be terrible at pull-ups, but now I have more endurance. I have more strength. And you're working different muscle fibers, with that. Like you're, but when you're lifting heavy, you're getting more, hypertrophy.
You're targeting more for the power as opposed to just like the strength and endurance muscles.
Yeah, not necessarily just for power, but when the heavier you lift, the more you're tearing that muscle. So the more potential there is for protein synthesis and muscle growth.
But the heavier you lift, couldn't you just tear that muscle the same by just doing like more reps? Would that, or is that not the same?
You can do a point, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I said, everybody's different and it depends on what you're doing. But so yes, so body weight exercises, especially for someone who doesn't do a lot of workouts. Like I would start with body weight exercises, especially because you're going to start to see, even with body weight exercises, you'll start to see rookie gains.
So what about machines versus free weights? This is the one everyone always talks about.
So I use both.
Okay.
The reason being is because it depends on what your goals are. For free weights, I like to use free weights, especially for support muscles.
Okay.
For my knees specifically, when I'm doing Bulgarian split squats, having the free weight there on just that one side allows me to not only just go with one leg and train one leg at a time, but I'm able to work on those support muscles. Whereas if I was just doing regular barbell squats, my knee could be dipping in and, you're not necessarily getting the same support. Same with like a press. If you're doing a barbell press, it takes support muscles to keep those dumbbells in line. Whereas if you're on like a Smith's machine, or even if you're just using a regular barbell, you're kind of locked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're using, heavy dumbbells on a bench press or a fly, even, you can roll and all this stuff. Like you can
a lot more potential to
you can have imbalances from different sides. Like I had muscle imbalances for my legs, especially. My left leg was a lot stronger than my right because of my meniscus tear and stuff like that. So free weights, especially dumbbells, allow you to train consistently. What I don't like about free weights is I can't load as much weight. So I switch between them.
Okay.
So like I do push-pull legs. So Monday is a push day, emphasis on chest. So I'm going to do a lot of heavy lifting on chest. And then things like triceps, I'm going to do free weights like dumbbells.
Got you.
And I'm going to go with kind of like less weights, but I'm going more for, rep form, and I'm going more for strength and endurance. And then on Thursday, which is the next push day, I flip them. So I'm doing heavy weights for things like triceps, and then the chest, I'm working more on that endurance, the strengthening of the support muscles things. So I'm using dumbbells.
Yeah.
With a barbell, I can load on the weight, possibly, 1.5 to 2 times as much as I could do with a dumbbell. Even just racking and unracking is completely different in terms of, dumbbells and barbells. A barbell, you can just push up and
you're fine.
You can just push up and you're good. And to re-rack it, it's right there. If you're doing a press with dumbbells, you have them generally on your knees. You kick them up. You lean back. You do your set, and then you have to get rid of them somehow. Some people just toss them off to the sides. I like to use the weight of the dumbbell, bring it down to my knees, and allow the weight of the dumbbells to help me get up. Yeah, especially when I'm going to be doing abs every day before my regular workout.
It's going to be
I'm going to be dying a little bit. But that's what's going to get me to motivate myself to train abs, is if I put it before every workout.
So you say motivate. I actually wanted to ask you this. It's very interesting to me. A lot of people have a real difficult time sticking with things. That seems, when I've been kind of looking at why there's very little follow through in a lot of different industries, motivation seems to be like more than knowledge, more than opportunities. From what I'm seeing, motivation seems to be one of the biggest, most crucial things that people are lacking. Absolutely. And maintaining that motivation, maintaining that inspiration. So you've been doing this. I know you've worked out for years, but you've been really serious about it for the last year. Yep. Even a year isn't, in the grand scheme of things, not a huge amount of time, but it is a damn lot more time than 99% of the people out there.
Absolutely. So, especially where we're coming up on the new year. You got all those New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah. It's going to last
70 to 80% don't follow through.
Literally. Going to last a few days and then everyone's going to drop it. Yep. Which is why it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if I'm going to change, I'm going to change whatever damn day I decide I'm going to change. Yep. I'm not going to change because of some damn calendar.
Yep. Absolutely.
But anyways, I could go on a long tangent, but I won't. When it comes to motivation, what has helped you find that consistent motivation?
I mean, there's always going to be struggles, and there's days that I fail, and I won't go to the gym for a couple of days. Some of it's finding balance with life, like where back when I was working at Starbucks, it was my schedule was all over the place. So sometimes I work out at night, sometimes it would be in the morning before work. Leg day before work, if you're working retail or something, is ridiculous.
Hell, utter hell.
Even biceps, because you're lifting heavy boxes off your shelves, and you're just like, I am dying right now. Yes. Watch this box hit me in the face because I don't have any muscle strength anymore.
Nope. It's like, I'd rather just get hit in the face with all of this than try and carry this box.
And sometimes it's comical, so it works out.
It's fun, but
for me, a lot of it is like, at first, when you first make the decision to do something, you have a reason why. You got to stick with that reason. Like, for me, it was, I was unhappy with the way I was looking. I was unhappy with the way I was feeling because I just felt like crap. I just ate junk food all the time,
Yeah.
I was skinny, scrawny. I would, be playing with my nieces and get winded like that. And I'm like, I'm 24.
Yeah.
Like, this shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? And I've had a lot of issues, like you've known my past with my knee and my meniscus tear, and I've had a lot of issues with that and just being able to recover. And I'm in the best shape of my life now. I can't run long distance because of my knee, and the impact it has, but I can sprint. I can jump on a bike. I can do, a lot of stuff that I couldn't do before because of my knee. And so not only having that initial initial reason why you decided to change and sticking with that, but finding other aspects along the way. Like for me, I just like every other guy that works out, you love the pump.
Oh God, I love.
So
the pump.
going in, you may look like an idiot going into the bathroom and taking your shirt off at the gym once you're done.
I don't care who you are. Every guy does this.
It does something for your self-esteem.
Yes, it does.
And I am so much happier as a person, not just because of feeling healthy and I know, looking better and building that confidence in myself that I never had before. But it's like, it just changes everything. Like my initial reasoning was, I don't really feel like I look good and, I'm scrawny and I, can't keep up with my little nieces. But over time it became a confidence thing for me. Like I have so much more confidence. I can look in the mirror and tell myself positive things. That is something that is huge. That's something I also want to address on Motivational Monday is be like, next time you look at yourself, I actually said this on, I follow a group, and it's like an Alpha M group. Alpha M.
Love Alpha M.
It's the Alpha M Facebook group.
Okay, yeah.
Where a lot of guys are posting hey, here's my new outfit. How do you like it? Do you have any critiques for me? Any ways I can, be better at this and, change up the shoes, what I mean? And some of it is emotional stuff. Hey, I've been dating this girl for a little while and, she did this or she did that, or I don't feel this way. And, I'm not feeling right about this situation, stuff like that. And, so one thing was this guy just talking about how he doesn't really, he doesn't feel like people are he's trying to take himself seriously. He's trying to get out there and get stuff done. He's trying to do something with his life, and he feels like people aren't taking him seriously. Yeah. Which I've been there. It's he feels like people think he's a joke.
Yep.
And so one thing that I left a comment, I said if you focus on other people's opinions of you, and this definitely goes into the fat shaming and the gym intimidation. If you are so focused on other people's opinions of you, you're never going to stop chasing. You're never going to be happy if you are focused on other people's opinions of you, because people's opinions change.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to be happy is your opinion of yourself, which for me, working out has changed that a lot because I was saying earlier, is just the confidence. I'm confident in myself. I can, stand straight, I have much better posture than I did before. But just having that confidence helps tremendously. And what I commented with that is I told him when you look in the mirror, every day when you look in the mirror, I want you to say something positive about yourself. Instead of looking in the mirror, I used to look in the mirror and say, "You're an idiot. I hate you. Why are you the way that you are?" I feel like I'm Michael Scott right now. Why are you the way that you are? Instead of critiquing yourself and saying, "Oh, this hair is out of place," or "My eyebrows are too bushy," or I've got pimples everywhere. You look at my arms and it's just bad. It is bad, man. I've got ingrown hairs and everything. Instead of looking at those flaws, I want you to look yourself in the eyes and say something positive. I am smart. I am not a joke.
That is so powerful.
Because that is huge. Because if you're speaking, if all you're ever telling yourself is negative things about yourself, that's what you're going to believe. If you're telling yourself that you are not a joke, that you are smart, that you're not ugly, those things, not only over time are you going to start believing them, but they're going to become true in your life because you're speaking them into your life, which I think is huge. And that's been a huge motivator for me too. And that's one thing I want to share with the world is we, as a culture, especially in American culture, we are so wrapped up in drama. We are so wrapped up in shaming ourselves when we look in the mirror and with our thoughts, and shaming ourselves or shaming others to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, about the insecurities that we have. What we need to do is we need to not only start praising ourselves for our accomplishments and speaking well of ourselves to ourselves, and changing the way we think, we also need to change our approach to others. Like instead of, like I was saying earlier, when you go to the gym and you see someone who, like when I see someone doing quarter reps at the gym, I'm like, come on, man.
It's like, what's the point?
But at the same time, yeah, what's the point? But at the same time, I look at them and I say, they don't know what I know. Because you know what? I've done quarter reps in my day.
Yep.
And I say,
I swear I did them for years.
And I know where they're at.
Yeah.
Or if they have improper form with something, I know where they're at. I don't have proper form with stuff that I do. When I go, when I go into like the gym and I see someone that is overweight and they're jumping on like an elliptical, I'm like, this is where it's at. Like I'm like, instead of looking at them and judging them because of the way they look, go up to them and say, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Don't just speak truth into your life, speak truth into their lives.
That would be huge.
I think that would change. Insane. That would completely change our culture.
Completely change.
That would change people's lives because so many people they're missing that. They're not just missing like gratification and stuff, but they're a lot of times. Like I'm a classic overthinker, and I'm an analyzer and everything. So, if people. Like if I believe something about myself and people aren't proving it wrong, I'm going to keep believing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have nothing to say otherwise.
Having someone come up to you and just say, hey, like those glasses are bomb. Like they shape your face real well. I love the color. Like that is my favorite color, by the way.
Thanks. I am very proud of these glasses.
Like just saying something
nice
about
dark
that.
Blue. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And especially like someone who, like myself, I've never been happy with, all of the pimples and like my shoulders are covered and it's just horrible. Never been happy with it. But if I'm so focused on that, I might not notice other things like the muscle gains I've been gaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or the fact that you can cut your hair on fly every damn time.
I actually got to trim it because it's getting a little long.
Hilarious. But, every time it looks
I wake up and it's like halfway this way. But yeah, so just speaking some of that stuff into people's lives, and it's just stuff that, it's like they're going through the motions, and there's some stuff that they might not even realize.
It's true. Everyone has their own internal set of beliefs. This is something that I've always tried to live my life by, at least for the last decade, is everyone has these internal beliefs about themselves. And like we're all telling ourselves a story, and very rarely is that a positive story. Most of the stories, I think they say there's like, we think over 1,000 thoughts throughout the day, and between 60 and 70% of them are repeated thoughts that are negative. Like that's insane. And to say like we're telling not only ourselves a story about ourselves, but about our surrounding, about our opportunities, about those around us. And we're so busy doing that we miss the fact that there are other people. We miss the fact that like right here, like you are physically here right now. It
would be weird if I wasn't.
Yes, that would be. This would be a very odd conversation. But like it's the fact that like other people are standing right here, and like this world is occupied by so many more people than we think, more people than we see, more people than we know, more people than just us. And when you can go up to someone and enter into their mindset, their world essentially, and be like, hey, you know what? This negative belief that you have, this thought that you have is wrong. And in fact, you are actually amazing. You are strong. You are confident. You are great at this. This part of you is incredible. And just to like break that belief is so damn powerful.
And that's one thing that I've been trying to do a lot lately, especially like I told you, I was listening to that book.
Yeah, how to make friends and
influence people.
Freaking good
phenomenal book. And that's like not just talking to people about themselves, and kind of bringing that importance into their life, but now I'm trying to like when I have the opportunity, kind of go out of my way and just be like, give someone a compliment. Like I used to do that just, with, flirting with girls and stuff. As you go up and you say a compliment.
Works exceptionally well.
I mean, it does, but
if you're genuine,
it works better better if it's not only genuine, but if you go in without any expectations.
It's true.
So that's what I'm trying to do. And to break the third wall here, anyone listening to this, I challenge you all to go out And even just for the next week, just once a day, go to someone and compliment them. It'll do a world for you, and it'll be the world to them.
Honestly.
And I think literally, like I was saying earlier, if everyone did this, the culture in America would be completely different.
Completely different. And this is one thing that I absolutely loved about working at Starbucks. You and I both worked at Starbucks for like 7 years there-ish.
I was 7, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was just shy of. And like that is one thing that Starbucks did exceptionally well, is they really cultivated an environment where you could connect with your customers, you could connect with employees. Absolutely. And it's funny when you try and think about this, like a lot of businesses try and think, and how can you cultivate such an environment? And
good segue.
It is. Hey, thanks. Thanks.
I was waiting for that.
A lot of people think like, how can you make that? Right? Like, how can you cultivate that where your employees will go above and beyond to connect with your customers? And one of the best ways that I've found, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, being at Starbucks for so long, and because Starbucks does this so well, it's putting that, it's putting that mission, putting that vision in front of their employees, connecting what they're doing to the greater good, not only of the company, not only of themselves, of the company, but of the world, of humanity, connecting that every day, that serving that coffee to something that is so much greater than themselves.
Well, that's like with Starbucks. I'm paraphrasing, of course, because I don't think I know the whole thing, but their mission is to, inspire and nurture the human spirit. One person, one neighborhood, and one cup at a time, I think it is.
Yeah, you almost nailed that, actually.
It might be just serving coffee, but, for those who take notice, especially in the community, it's got a deeper meaning. You know what I mean? And that's Starbucks has always been very good at bringing value to their employees as well as their customers, and that's one reason why I enjoyed working for the company.
So do you have any sorts? I know I could tell tons of stories about this.
Absolutely.
But so what is some of the big stories that really resonated with you? Like that the fact that this was the mission, right? Like Starbucks was able to connect this mission to you. What are some ways that influenced the way you did your job?
I think the biggest turnarounds, I guess you could say, was when you have, you've seen it, especially as a supervisor. You've got that customer that they had a really, really bad experience. Something happened, something was wrong. This is maybe maybe another store messed up. It's, things happen. But having that customer, I've had customers come in that they were so angry they were shaking, like literally trembling like this. You probably can't see that on the camera, but that they were literally shaking, and being able to have them leave with a smile on their face, that their name, they know your name, they're going to come back even after what happened. That's crazy. And like for me, it was always, I found that Starbucks gave me value as an employee to be able to give that value to the customer. Whereas, maybe, it's not really who I am personally, but maybe if I were in a different circumstance and I didn't like my job, they didn't support me, I wouldn't care to give as much attention to the customer. I wouldn't care to give that much value to the customer and make sure everything was okay. To make sure that they left with a smile. Yeah. So that's huge. And even like one thing they always told us in training, as is, the people that come in, even the ones that are like, they're a grouch, you know what I mean? They're just mean, they're rude. They might be, they're like, they make your day hard. Yeah. But at the same time, looking at them, you don't know what their day has been like. I had one guy that came through drive-thru at one point, and I actually stayed and talked to him for a couple minutes, but and he came through drive-thru, and I asked him how he was doing. He's like, "Do you actually want to know?" I'm like, "Yeah."
When they ask that question,
like, lay it on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I've been in and out of the doctors and stuff." And I took a minute to just connect with the guy and talk to him as a person. And that was like huge for him. And he like seemed very, very relaxed when he left, and he like, thanked me and stuff. And that's huge to be able to impact people like that. You know what I mean? And to just be generally concerned with people, with how they're feeling, with how they're doing, with what's going on in their lives. Because a lot of people are like, well, why would you care? Why should you care? Why do you care?
Yeah.
And it's sad to think that in this day and age, that is our culture, that people don't care.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I think that would be a huge culture shift if people just started caring about other people and being generally like, I feel like it's kind of a norm to be like, you know, hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Are you actually asking the question?
Yeah, it's the typical, what they call the Southern hospitality type of mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how you doing? Good. Okay, cool. Bye.
Well, I feel like I've had times where I literally, like, people say, how you doing? And then just keep walking. And they don't even look at you after the fact. They just say, how you doing? And they're gone. And it's just like, you didn't even ask me that. Like, you're going through the motions. Yep. You're not invested in me. Mm-hmm. And taking the time and being like, hey, I actually asked that question. I do want to know you are worth my time. Mm-hmm. Lay it on me.
Yeah. And like if businesses could understand that, like when you invest in your employees, what you're saying is they are worth your time. And what they are going to do is go out to their customers, your customers, and say, you know what? My boss says I am worth his time. And that means that you are worth my time and you are worth caring about. And we can have this connection. And that is so important. You develop passionate customers easily by doing that. Like, who does not want to frequent a business where the person knows them by name? They know what they want. They know their preferences. They know their history. They check up and see how their week is. Like, who does not want to consistently visit a place like that?
And that's something Starbucks has always done very, very well, is that they do have that return. Like, they have that return customer, but at the same time, the customers that come in love the passion of the employees for what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's one of those things that builds those lasting connections is, you know, if you walk into a place and the guy's just like, oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
It's not, no.
It's not going to last. Nothing.
It's just not, you don't get that connection as if you walk into a Starbucks and like, there's someone like Ben who is like, seems like he's on 20 shots of espresso, but that's just his personality.
All day long. Loves
what he's doing. You know, it just loves everyone. And like, you build that connection. Like instantly they stand out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's huge. You know? Yeah.
It really is. It really is. It's absolutely monumentous.
And like we were talking about earlier, like Gary Vee always says, I'm paraphrasing, of course, is that, you know, all business owners want their employees to work as hard as they do. They want their employees to care about the business as much as they do. It's not going to happen. But you can get closer if instead of focusing on the business, focus on your employees because the employees are the business.
Literally. And like through that, when Starbucks has done that, I personally have developed some of my best friendships in my life through Starbucks. Yep. Not only employees, which you would think that's fair. Okay, you're working there for 7 years. Yeah. Yep. But like I worked at 12 different stores in 7 years. At least 12 actually. I lost count at that point. And like from Texas to Maine, I worked at like over 120 people under me. And like a lot of my friends, yes, were coworkers, of course. But the customers have become my close friends. Like what other business, what other industry, what other company can say that their employees and their customers become friends after and while the employee's there and after they leave?
And to think all of that, and we give them coffee.
That's literally all you think. Like that's all we do. Like that's all, as far as a business, that's all it seems we do. Yeah.
Honestly, with like Amazon and all this, like all the online shopping and stuff, that's the biggest reason, in my opinion, that brick and mortar is still a thing.
It's that human connection.
Is because of the human connection.
It's the only reason. If you want to survive in the next 30, 40, 50 years, minimum, if you want to survive, then you need to develop that human connection. That with the internet, everything will be taken over. You need that or else you will not last.
Especially as you're growing as a company because you're not necessarily going to be always the face of the company.
No, it's true.
So you want the people that are actually interacting with your customers to give the customers the same value that you would give the customers.
Mm-hmm.
So the more value you give your employees, the more you care about your employees, how they're doing, just even emotionally, you know, and like if they come in and they seem a little sad, like address it. Like talk to them. Don't be afraid to talk to them. It makes you more human as a boss, so they don't just think of you as a tyrant who writes their paychecks. But it's going to raise the value of your customers just like that, just like magic. Like no ad campaigns, no, you know, YouTube, you know, advertisements or billboards or anything. The value to your customers is going to increase, and you're going to have more return customers because of the value you put in your employees. And also your employees are going to go out and acquire you customers and other employees because they're going to be speaking well about you.
Absolutely. So because we got to wrap this up, but before we do this, one last question is, I want to hear a story from your life personally regarding this. Gosh. So what is do you have any story that stands out where because of the value or the connection or like the way that you felt through Starbucks, because of how management made you feel, that you were able to connect with customers more to bring that value to them?
Well, personally, first off, I would say that if it wasn't for, having some of the managers that I did, I wouldn't have lasted as long as Starbucks. I'm an INFJ, so talking to people has never really been my strong suit. And especially being in a supervisor role, that, there were times where I was hated throughout the entire store because, I didn't communicate well. And I was a stickler for the rules, and, that's just the way it was. I was more of an enforcer. But having the managers that I did that cared about their employees, not just in work, but outside of work too, is monumental. And that's changed me for the better. And that's helped me be able to, not just not be critical about someone, but to go up to them if they're doing something wrong and be like, hey, like, do you know the reason why we do this? Like, what is your understanding about this? Because, and changing up the way that I think, and instead of being like, you're wrong, you're not doing this right. It's like, well, you might not know any better. Who knows? You may have had a trainer that, like, I've seen trainers on their they're training someone on their last day.
That's always a horrible idea.
I've literally seen someone that was talking to customers instead of training. They were supposed to be training someone on bar, and they were just talking to customers the entire time, and the person was just standing there. Like, didn't learn anything except how to talk to customers.
Yeah.
And so, like, you see that. So sometimes they're not trained correctly. So coming at it from a different perspective, coming at it from a different point of view, for someone like me is a skill to be learned. It is not natural. And so I have now acquired some of those skills because of the time and attention and value that my higher ups have given me.
Do you have like a specific situation?
I know I'm trying to think of one. I'm being kind of vague. Well, I can say one particular situation. It didn't necessarily involve me. But what happened is one of my coworkers had recently broken up with her boyfriend at the time. And he was kind of abusive and stuff. And so she was trying, I don't know if she was trying to move out of his place. I believe it was moving out of his place and getting stuff from there. But my boss at the time went on his day off with her and one of the other supervisors to that place and helped her move. That's not what a boss does.
No.
Most bosses don't do that. Most bosses, they clock out and it doesn't matter. But this boss, no, he cared about his employees to the fact of he went out of his way to help her move.
Yeah. Not only to help her through this
hard time, and to keep her safe. You know what I mean? It's like
in that situation,
to actually show that you care.
Yeah.
And even when I left, the same manager, years later was like, hey, when you get another job, let me know. Like, I want to know you're doing well,
Yeah.
Like, just that, like, I left on a good note, a decent note. There was a little bit of struggle there at the end, but but still, like having that and being able to, even after, running through some trials and tribulations and stuff like that, being able to look at him and have the same respect, and like we still have that connection even through all the things we've been through. I've worked with him for 5 years, I think. I've worked underneath him as a manager. Like you go through a lot in that time. And so still being able to have that respect, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you go through, you can sit there and be like, hey, I genuinely care about you as a person. Let me know how you're doing. You know what I mean? And
amazing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So I know it's not necessarily an example that's specific to me, but that's just the first one that came to my head.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us here.
Who's us?